In this video, I will be talking about Anubis, the god of the dead. He's from the Egyptian pantheon, and in Smite, he is a mage. Uh, so let's move into base stats while I explain everything. Anubis, as you can see, very squishy. Doesn't get a lot of health, 350 plus 66 per level. Doesn't equate to a whole lot. Physical defense, 10 plus 2.5. Also, not a whole lot. He is not going to take damage very well. He's going to die really easily, but you'll see the trade off. And you'll see that with his abilities, starting with his passive, Sorrow. So, every single one of Anubis' abilities will steal physical and magical protection from the target he hits, and he gains increased scaling to his item-based magical lifesteal. And in addition to all this, he will gain 30% reduction to all crowd control durations. So he'll be CC'd for less time, stuns, taunts, mesmerize, all less time with him. Now, Sorrow is a tick because his abilities do tick damage. So each tick of your ability that hits adds a tick of sorrow, a stack of sorrow. And each stack of sorrow is 7 magical and physical protections. And Anubis will only gain 3 stacks, but he will take 3 stacks from any enemy he hits. So if you hit 3 enemies with your abilities, hit from each 3 times, they'll all lose 21 off of both protections, but Anubis will only gain 21. And then Magical Lifesteal also follows these stacks. He'll gain an extra 33% Magical Lifesteal all on what he has. So if you have, let's say, 15% lifesteal, each tick, each stack of sorrow will add an extra 5% to that. So in total, you'll get 100% extra lifesteal with the full stacks. So 15 will go to 30, 30 will go to 60. Anubis gains a lot of lifesteal. Let's leave it there. He gains a lot. And the reason why it's so easy to do this is because all of his abilities will do tick damage. And while you don't think this would make Anubis really good at burst, he is really good at burst. So this first ability here, Plague of Locusts, kind of does what it says. Anubis will spew locusts from his mouth. It'll do a tick of damage every half a second for a total of 3 seconds. And it'll hit in a cone in front of Anubis. Additionally, while Anubis is channeling the ability, he has to channel it, he is immune to any knockback abilities. There are a couple of those. He's immune to them while spewing out locusts. So now, the damage per tick that he does 35 up to 95, so 15 per level, plus 40% of the magical power. So this will do almost 600 damage at max rank without any item scaling whatsoever. It's a lot of damage. And you also have to factor in that the first 3 ticks are stealing some protections. So you're making the enemies even weaker the longer you hit them. So now cooldown starts at 15 seconds, goes down to 11 as you level up. Mana cost 60 up to 100. So he'll do a lot of damage with this, and he'll steal some protections. Moving into his next ability here, Mummify. He'll shoot in a straight line projectile bandages. The first enemy god it hits will stun them and mummify them. The stun scales as it goes up. I'm unsure whether this actually puts sorrow in an enemy. It's a little, I don't even know, but it could. I don't think it does, but it's a really good stun if you land it. It goes from 1.2 seconds all the way up to 2 seconds. It's a long duration stun. Goes up 0.2 per rank. Mana cost stays constant at 60 seconds. The cooldown will reduce as he levels it up, going from 18 seconds to 14 seconds. So, the more you level up Mummify, the more often you can stun. And as I'll go into later, Mummify is key to what Anubis does. So now, his third ability is called Grasping Hands. Anubis will raise the dead's hands from the ground, which will claw the enemy in a circular area. It'll do damage every half second for 2 seconds, and it will slow the enemy. The slow reapplies every time they get hit. So if they step out of the radius after getting hit, they'll be slowed, and then that'll happen. So now damage per tick starts at 25, goes up to 85, 15 per level, much like a Plague Locust, plus 35% of his magical power. So at max rank, this ability's got to be doing a fair amount of damage. Not a ton, about 330, 340. Not a ton of damage, but you're hitting in a nice, easy to hit circular area. And unlike Plague Locust, you don't have to stand still to cast this. So Plague Locust, if you want all 6 ticks of the damage, you have to stand still, and the enemies can just walk away. Yeah. But Grasping Hands does it itself. You don't have to stand still while you're using it. And so it's a bit more safe, a bit more reliable damage. So now mana cost 70 at level 1, 110 at its max rank, cooldown 15 to 11 seconds. Its slow will always be 25%, so very reliable ability. Now, here's the ultimate, and this is what is affectionately called lighthousing, because Anubis literally becomes a lighthouse. Anubis will shoot a laser in front of him out of his eyes, and it will do damage to any enemy unfortunate enough to be in that path. It'll hit every 0.1 seconds for 3 seconds. For those of you who aren't so good at math, that's 30 times. He will hit you 30 times if he lands every single tick of this ability. It's devastating. So now, that's why this damage is so low. You have to remember, 23 per tick, not a lot, but you hit that 30 times, that's suddenly 600 damage with level 1 of this ultimate. Now, the caveat there is actually hitting all 30 ticks, but well, the damage only scales up to 43, but you also, again, remember, that's going to be 1200 damage at max rank, plus 15% of the magical power, factoring in sorrow, stealing protections. This is a devastating ultimate to get hit. And I did mention lighthousing. Anubis shoots a little bit downwards, so it's not stupid. And he kind of looks like a lighthouse, shooting light in front of him and just hitting your soul. It's kind of funny, actually. Mana cost, 90, doesn't change. A little bit lower than what you usually have for an ultimate. Cooldown goes from 90 seconds down to 70 as you rack it up. One of the few ultimates that gets cooldown reduction as you level up. It's really nasty. It can be really, really good. So, moving into recommended leveling order. Say, Anubis is really good in the mid lane. It's kind of his best role. Solo, meh. He does okay, but the warriors there can mess him up. Anubis is really good at destroying squishy targets as well as destroying objectives. So objectives being the Fire Giant and the Gold Fury. And these things are going to be easier to access from the mid lane. In the solo lane, you can't really get to the Gold Fury, and Fire Giant isn't really a relevant target until late in the game after your lane doesn't matter. So mid lane is a lot better for this, so that Anubis can get to that Gold Fury or get to that Fire Giant and just shred them. That is one of his best things. He can just shred objectives. So, leveling order. Starting out, Plague of Locusts is one of the best level 1 lane clear abilities, I should say, in the entire game. You will clear archers at level 1, hitting every tick, and you will put all melee minions into one hit from your basic attacks. It is very good clear, just not very safe. However, at level 1, other mages aren't going to be able to kill you either, so that may be moot. Now, after level 1, you want to take Grasping Hands at level 2. Mummify isn't needed at that point because you have no kill. You would have no kill potential. It doesn't last long enough to hit every tick of Plague of Locusts, and the damage isn't high enough anyway. Plus, you can just poke. The Grasping Hands is good because then it gives you safe or clear and allows you to poke out the enemy mid laner by hitting them with some damage. Level 3, you want to take a second level in Grasping Hands. Again, Mummify, you don't really have the kill potential to capitalize on a stun. So Grasping Hands helps you by giving you safe clear, does more damage. You'll be able to clear the lane. You can really poke out the enemy mid laner at this point. And at this point, the enemy jungler may be running through your lane. This will allow you to get away from them if they try to kill you. Plague of Locusts will not. It will probably get you killed. Now, level 4, Mummify. This is where you take it. There's no real reason to save the point. You might as well have Mummify. You'll peel yourself. You can stun the enemy mid laner if there's a gank. You can get away from the jungler. It's just, this is the best level to take it. It's going to have the most value here, and at this point, there's nothing else to level all of them. You might as well get it. So now, level 5, you want to get your ultimate. Now, this is where Anubis' kill potential is. Because at this point, if he hits Mummify, his level 2 Grasping Hands, and his ult, he will kill you. If you're not a tank, he will kill you. There's no question. He does so much damage in such a short amount of time, you'll just lose all your health. And being stunned for 1.2 seconds, you just won't be able to get out of it. And the Grasping Hands slowing you is hard to get out of. Now, this is a good opportunity talking about Anubis' two main combos. Anubis is a combo burst mage god, so he needs to hit multiple abilities in succession in the right order in order to do most of his damage. The combo is you mummify someone, stun them, put the Grasping Hands up underneath them, and then as soon as that's cast, you ult them, and you hit them with a ton of damage in the space of a few seconds. And they can't do much unless they have beads that early. And if they don't do anything, they're probably just going to die. Now, the other combo later game is the Mummify, Grasping Hands, Plague of Locusts. You're not going to have your ult up, and you're going to need to do damage. While Plague of Locusts isn't necessarily safe, it will hurt a lot, if not kill. And later game, you can wipe a squishy target out of the fight just by hitting them with two abilities, and you don't even need your ult. Your ult's more useful for a high priority mid laner, fed hunter, a warrior who's being tanky, someone who's just killing your backline. That's what the ult will be saved for in late game. Early game, use it. Just kill someone. You want to get ahead. If you're ahead, no one can kill you. Or at least no one can really deal with your damage. They can kill you. You're squishy. And you're slow. But you're going to have a good opportunity. Now, level 6, Grasping Hands. Level 7, Grasping Hands. Now, level 8. This is where you would think Plague of Locusts, but actually Mummify. The reason why is Plague of Locusts is not safe in the slightest. It's not really useful at this stage of the game. Your ult is your kill combo right now. You just want to farm. So you want to get Grasping Hands up as quickly as possible. That's the level 6 and 7. At that point, you'll be clearing the wave really easily, really safely. You'll do a lot of poke damage if you go for it. It'll hurt, and it'll poke the enemy mid laner out. At level 8, getting Mummify means that you have a lot of kill potential because you'll have Mummify up sooner. It'll stun for longer, so it'll give you more opportunity to do your damage. So that's where you want to take it. Now, level 9, ult, more damage, lower cooldown. It's just all around the good idea. Level 10, Grasping Hands, max it out. You'll full clear a wave. It'll be safe. It'll be free. Just do it. Now, level 11, Mummify. Level 12, Mummify. Level 13, Death Gaze. Level 14, Mummify. Level 15, Plague. Level 16, Plague. Uh, 16 is Death Gaze, level 4. Sorry. 17, 18, 19, max out Plague of Locusts, because there's nothing else to level up. Level 20, get Death Gaze. This is where Anubis is most dangerous, because he's just going to hit you and kill you. If you get stunned, you're pretty much dead. Even if you try to bead, he can still kill you, because he'll do so much damage in such a short amount of time. Especially with the Death Gaze at level 20, you'll just die if you don't get out of there. It's really hard to stay alive through an Anubis combo. So now, recommended item build. Start with the Vampiric Shroud for the early game sustain, as well as this Lost Artifact. Or what you can do is go Tiny Trinket for the lifesteal because of Anubis' passive. You'll be getting a lot of health back in the lane, get really good sustain. You'll sacrifice mana, which can hurt, but if you get an early kill and you get ahead, it won't matter as much. You get 2 potions, 3 if you go Tiny Trinket because it costs less gold than the Lost Artifacts, 540 to 600. Now after the start, first time you want to back with enough gold to buy boots. And you can either go Shoes of the Magi, 65 damage, will do a lot for you, raise that mana a little bit, which is good for Anubis because that's an entire combo right there. Or you can go Cooldown Shoes, get your combo up more, but do less damage, which is less impactful on Anubis because of his passive. It's a to each their own. Both are really good. Both are decent ideas. Who knows? Now, after that, Chronos Pendant or Bancroft's Talon, depending on which starter item you got. If you got the Lost Artifact, you build into Chronos. If you got the Tiny Trinket, you build into Bancroft's. Both are great items on Anubis. Chronos Pendant will mean your combo is up almost all the time. Bancroft's means that you'll just heal through any shenanigans while you're doing your combo. You'll just heal. And no one can kill you if you're doing damage because you'll just heal through it. It also gives you a lot of damage. Now, after that, you definitely want to build into whichever one you didn't get because then you're getting all the benefits, and they're both so good on Anubis. He needs them both. Now, after that, you want to go Spear of the Magus. Now, what Spear of the Magus does is it has a passive, much like Executioner. Each time you hit someone with a magical ability, you'll knock off some of their magical protection. It'll stack twice. Now, Anubis takes off 21, and then Spear will take off most of the rest of it. So Anubis can easily do true damage to his opponents and just destroy them. Even the tanks are not safe once he gets Spear. It'll give him modest damage, good amount of penetration, 15 I believe, and it's just such a good item on Anubis. Now, after that, Rada Tahuti, you'll just annihilate everything in your path after that. And then, after your Rada Tahuti, you sell your Vampiric Shroud and you get Pythagorean's Peace. And what this will do is it'll give you 25% magical lifesteal all told, plus the healing from Bancroft's, and 90 magical power and 10% cooldown. It is just the perfect item for Anubis, and you will heal through everything. You'll have your combo up so often because you'll have 35% cooldown. The cap is 40, so you're just barely missing the cap, and you'll do so much damage. That is your peak Anubis thing. That is when you are at your best. Defensive items, not great on Anubis. He needs all the damage he can get. they just aren't useful with him. Now, actives, beads, really good on every god. Anubis, buy them. You won't, even though you have a passive CC reduction, you need beads to get away. Um, and then this item, Combat Blink, lets you blink right out of combat. Since Anubis is squishy, he can die really easily, so you might as well get the heck out of there. And this will let you do that. Alright, that's a build, I guess. So now, skins, standard Anubis, golden, diamond, legendary, Nightwalker, his recolor makes him white, makes him kind of like gray, actually, kind of spectral almost. It's not great. But then there's two gem skins. Gravehound, which will turn him into the Skeledoge. He becomes a skeleton. And he's got a few organs in there, but he's mostly a skeleton. His effects turn green as opposed to his usual bluish. So that's that skin. And then you have Stargazer. Makes him a robot, changes his voice. Gravehound doesn't do that. But changes the voice, changes all the effects into lasers. Everything is lasers. His locusts, his grasping hands are, I don't even know what they are. Like a portal to another dimension, I guess. And the Death Gaze is even more laser than he used to be a laser. Alright, I guess that's a new